Warning: the following is a work of fiction and not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised. The Ballad of Stormy by HurtComfortBox. Stormy was an extraordinarily adorable little fluffy. She was a soft storm gray with white dappling across her haunches, a white mane, and big blue eyes. She lived in a pen with a lot of other pretty mares in a fluffy mart. The fluffy mart itself was bright, well-kept, and clean. It used to be a hipster clothing boutique, but it went out of business, and now the ever-expanding Hasbio empire had taken hold there instead. Due to the limited space, the mares' pens were right next to the stallions' pens. The pens themselves were made out of clear plexiglass for ease of modification and cleaning. Today had been a very good day so far. Stormy had ran and played tag with her best friend, a pale yellow earthy named Sunshine. They had gotten to the kibble first when it had been given at lunch, and now they were standing at the shared wall of the pen watching the handsome stallions puff out their chests and show off for them. They batted their eyelashes in return, giggling. Snowball, a pure white unicorn stallion, sat on the other side of the pen wall and plotting. Snowball, also known as Little Shithead, out of range of the customers, was a smarty. It was his mission in life to get to the other side of the pen wall, F all the mares, make his own herd, and take over the store. Then they would give the worstest sorry hoovesies to the Fluffy Mart employees and have the best disketties and toysies forever. Today was his lucky day. Grady, one of the employees, was busy scooping shit and left the box of fluff litter too close to the pen wall. A customer came up just then, asking Grady a question about something, and Snowball leapt onto the box and over the wall. He landed in front of the two pretty mares, his no-no stick ready to go. Stormy gasped. A stallion! A stallion was in the pen. He looked at her and puffed out his chest confidently.
Pretty mare, and now Snowball's special friend.
He whipped around her before she could say anything and mounted her. Special huggies were not as good as the show babies had made them out to be. Snowball huffed on top of her for only a few moments, and she wasn't sure if he was actually giving her special huggies or not. But after a moment, the warm, instinctual knowledge that she was pregnant washed over her. She felt so happy. She didn't even mind that Snowball immediately mounted Sunshine. She had always assumed that if someone was her special friend, they would only be her special friend. But she was so happy about the babies that she couldn't bring herself to really care. She sat down on the cheap carpeting of the pen, wiping away the evidence as she danced in celebration, waving her little hoovesies around in glee.
What do you think you're doing, shithead?
Stormy gasped and almost made bad poopies as Grady finally noticed Snowball's shenanigans. He grabbed the unicorn by the scruff and pulled him off of Sunshine right as he yelled,
Good feels.
and impregnated his second mare of the day. He wiggled about wildly, puffing his cheeks out in anger.
Bad upsie, dummy. Put Snowball down now. Snowball gon' F mares and make her.
Grady slapped him across the face with the sorry stick that all Fluffy Mart employees carry. It made a satisfying cracking noise as it broke Snowball's nose and made him go cross-eyed in pain. He hoo-hooed and put his hooves over his nose. Grady reached down and grabbed Sunshine too.
Owie, that upsie bad for Mama.
Shit.
Grady hissed, quickly kicking the box of litter away from the wall of the pen to prevent further problems. The commotion had set off a shockwave of distress around the store as more and more fluffies started to cry and wail.
Fuck.
Grady dashed to the back to punish them as his coworkers tried to calm the merchandise before they lost too many sales. A pregnant mare wasn't that big of a deal. Her foals could be sold for more profit down the line, and so she would likely only see a night in the sorry box. Snowball, on the other hand, would either be pillowed or euthanized, depending on how pissed his manager was. Grady sighed. He didn't want to work here, but Fluffy Marts are the only place that never drug tested, and he needed rent money. Meanwhile, Stormy was hurriedly waddling her way to the litter box. She had almost made bad poopies on the floor when Grady had yelled, and the need had gone away as he had taken Sunshine and Snowball to the back. She had broken a rule. She had done special huggies. She couldn't let anyone find out, or she'd get the sorry box for sure. She definitely didn't want the sorry box. It was dark, and everyone knew that monsters lived in the dark. Stormy had always been a well-behaved little fluffy, taking easily to the litter box training and never once getting the sorry box. As such, the mere threat of it loomed large over her. It was the worstest thing in the whole world. She squatted and did good poopies, and that made her feel better. She had an idea. She would just get adopted, and then she would surprise her new mama or dada with babies. Babies made everything better. The TV said so. Sunshine didn't come back until the next morning. Her face fluff was matted and stained with tears and snot, and Snowball didn't come back at all. Stormy, relieved to see her friend was safe and sound, ran up to hug her.
Hello, Sunshine.
Sunshine didn't hug her back. She pushed Stormy away, blowing a raspberry at her.
No hug, dummy Stormy.
Stormy didn't understand. Her big blue eyes brimmed with tears.
I mean to Stormy.
Sunshine reared back suddenly and gave her sorry hoovesies right on the nosy. She plopped down and rubbed her nose, starting to cry in earnest.
Owies, no hurries.
Sunshine blew another raspberry.
Well, I'm no get in trouble. You done special hurry too.
Stormy's eyes went wide.
Shh, please be quiet, Sunshine. No more sorry, Bugsy.
Sunshine's eyes narrowed, and she took a big, deep breath to yell. Karen sneered over the pens. They definitely weren't anything special, but it was trending right now to adopt rescue fluffies. The local shelter, Sunnydale Farms, had had plenty of fluffies to choose from, but none of them had suited her tastes. They had all been desperate, begging her to take them home, crying when she passed them. They had been mostly poor colors or had been previously owned by abusers and thus were scarred. While that would have gotten her a ton of likes, she didn't really want to deal with a damaged fluffy, and she really didn't want an ugly fluffy. She needed something cute, something obedient. Her eyes fell on the little gray mare. She plucked her up from the pen easily, pulling her from a no doubt inane conversation with her little yellow friend. She looked at her. She was crying, but she was crying prettily. And when she saw that it was Karen and not a Fluffy Mart employee, a big smile broke across her delicate little face.
How nice, sweetie. Fluffy names it. I'm Stormy.
Karen smiled. She was polite. That was good.
How would you like for me to be your mommy?
Stormy cheered, clapping her little hoovesies in excitement.
Yeah, love it.
Karen cooed at her, turning and snapping her fingers at Grady to get his attention. From her vantage point in her new mama's arms, Stormy could see Sunshine below, her jaw hanging open in shock. Stormy stuck her tongue out at her. Dummy Sunshine. She was clearly jealous. She turned and let a volley of sorry poopies fly at her, but it splattered uselessly against the pen wall. Karen made a noise of disgust and flinched away nonetheless, prompting Grady to lean over and give her a swat with the sorry stick. Vindication. A short time later, she was strapped into a brand new, top-of-the-line, very expensive, fluffy harness, complete with a built-in litter box to easily contain any and all scaredy poopies that could happen in the car. She was sat up, strapped safely into the seat with 2 straps across her chest. Stormy hummed happily to herself and rubbed her tummy as her new mama instructed a very strained-looking Grady how to load her purchases in the car. Karen had already taken 3 selfies with Stormy in front of the last chance bin at Fluffy Mart, which would lend credence to her shelter story. She refreshed them and smiled as the likes began to pour in, along with the comments praising her for saving a poor last chance Fluffy. She got in the car and Stormy waved at her happily, her eyes full of love.
Loving you, Mama.
Karen sniffed, her smile faltering slightly.
Mommy. You'll call me Mommy.
Stormy paused for a moment as an odd tingling in her brain signified that her programming had taken effect.
Yes, Mommy. Loving Mommy.
Stormy happily hummed and babbled the whole way home once the initial scaredies from starting the car had subsided. She had even managed to hold in her scaredy poopies, and Mommy had given her a scratch behind her ears. Stormy was so excited about being adopted that she completely forgot to tell her Mommy that she was a soon mama. She fell asleep even as she was mumbling nonsense words about her favorite colors and games. Karen took pictures of her, sleeping peacefully in the car seat, before she picked her up and placed her in the spare bedroom that had been converted into a safe room. She closed the door behind her, refreshing her page and smiling at the number of likes. She had easily trumped Linda's stupid rescue Fluffy. Stormy dreamt peacefully about her mommy and her babies. She dreamed about teaching them how to be good Fluffies and how they would all get so many loves and toysies and huggies from Mommy. Absolutely nothing was going to go wrong.